You have been buying pods, the ones in the orange box or the green one, maybe the purple. You grab them without thinking because they are convenient and there is always a coupon near the checkout. At 35 to 50 cents per pod, on a household that runs the dishwasher 5 times a week, that is $150 a year, just on detergent. But here is what no one at Procter & Gamble is going to tell you. There is an ingredient inside every one of those pods that has been slowly and permanently destroying your glasses. Not staining them, not fogging them, destroying them permanently. And there is something else, something that applies to every form of dishwasher detergent sold. Pods, powder, liquid, tablets, every single one. Something that is cutting years off the life of an appliance designed to last 15. Stick with me, because once you understand the chemistry, the orange box is never coming back. Here is what is actually happening inside your machine right now. It does not matter which form you use. Every commercial dishwasher detergent is built around the same class of alkaline surfactants. At the concentrations required to cut grease in a 60-second wash cycle, those surfactants gradually degrade the rubber components inside your machine. The door gasket, the pump seals, the internal hose connections. Appliance technicians have a name for this failure category. Chemical degradation, not age, not mechanical wear. The detergent. A residential dishwasher is rated to last 10 to 15 years. Most fail between 8 and 10. That gap is not coincidence. Detergent residue builds up on the heating element and forces the pump to work harder than it was designed to. The gasket softens. The seal develops a weep. One day there's a drop on the floor after every cycle. Then the repair call. Then the replacement. And the industry sells you the same alkaline chemistry in a different color. The formula you're about to learn does not do any of that. But first, the glasses. The cloudiness you have noticed is not hard water. If it were deposits, white vinegar would dissolve them. You have probably already tried that. Nothing changed. That is because the cloudiness is not sitting on the surface. It is damaged beneath the surface. And the chemical responsible is not a contaminant. It is a primary ingredient in your detergent by design. Commercial pods use chelating agents. Their job is to bind to calcium and metal ions in water and pull them off your dishes. But chelants do not distinguish between the calcium in your dirty water and the silica in your glass. Inside a hot dishwasher with aggressive spray and high temperature, they work on the glass itself. Molecule by molecule, over hundreds of cycles, they remove silica from the glass matrix. That cloudiness is the surface of your glass being consumed permanently. A senior scientist at Procter & Gamble confirmed this mechanism in direct response to a press inquiry. The company that makes Cascade confirmed exactly what their product does to your glass, and then recommended a different version of their product as the solution. Here is what actually fixes it. 4 ingredients: washing soda, baking soda, citric acid, table salt. The 4 compounds doing the actual cleaning work inside every commercial formula, minus the chelants, the synthetic fragrance, the bleach, and the polyvinyl alcohol casing every pod comes wrapped in. Washing soda triggers alkaline hydrolysis, the reaction that breaks the molecular bonds holding grease and protein to your dishes. That is the primary cleaning mechanism. Baking soda buffers it on delicate surfaces and helps the mixture dissolve cleanly. Citric acid chelates the calcium in your water, but at a concentration too low to reach the silica threshold in your glass, and it descales your machine automatically every cycle. Salt prevents clumping and softens the water in the wash tank. 1 cup of washing soda, 1 cup of baking soda, 1 cup of citric acid, half a cup of plain table salt. Mix in a bowl and leave it uncovered for 2 days before sealing it in a jar. That step is not optional. The citric acid reacts with ambient humidity, and the off-gassing settles the mixture. Seal it immediately, and it hardens into a solid block inside a week. After 2 days, seal it airtight. 1 tablespoon per load. $2.50 per batch. 56 loads. 4 cents each. And here is where this stops being about your dishes. In December 2022, researchers at the University of Zurich published a study in the Journal of Allergy and Clinical Immunology. They were investigating one specific question. What happens to the chemical residue that stays on your dishes after the cycle ends? A typical dishwasher applies rinse water for 60 seconds and stops. There is no secondary rinse after that. Professor Kesmi Aktis, who led the study, described it plainly. Potentially toxic substances remain on the dishes, where they then dry in place. When you eat off those dishes, the dried residue enters your gastrointestinal tract. The compound they identified was alcohol ethoxylate, a surfactant found in most commercial detergents and rinse aids. When they exposed human intestinal tissue to concentrations reflecting what actually remains on dry dishes, High doses killed intestinal epithelial cells outright. Lower doses made the gut wall measurably more permeable. That barrier is what controls what enters your body from your digestive tract. Professor Actis stated publicly that defective epithelial barriers may play a role in triggering the onset of 2 billion chronic illnesses worldwide. 2 billion. Delivered in part by residue drying on the plates your family eats from every day. The formula you just learned contains no alcohol ethoxylates. Washing soda, citric acid, and baking soda rinse completely and release cleanly in the wash water. Nothing bonds to the dish surface, nothing dries in place. If you are on a septic system, this matters even more. Commercial detergents carry surfactants and phosphorus directly into your tank every cycle. Surfactants are toxic to the anaerobic bacteria that break down solid waste in your tank. As that colony drops, solids accumulate faster and leach field load climbs. Every ingredient in this formula, sodium carbonate, baking soda, citric acid, salt, is fully biodegradable and neutral to anaerobic bacteria. Your system works the way it was designed to. For rinsing, skip the jet dry entirely. A small open dish with a quarter cup of plain white distilled vinegar on the top rack lowers the surface tension of the rinse water at contact. Exactly what a synthetic rinse aid does, for 9 cents instead of 35. Do not pour it directly into the rinse aid reservoir. Sustained acid exposure degrades the rubber seals in most dispensers over a season. Top rack, open dish, every time. Once a month, run the machine empty with half a cup of plain citric acid dropped into the bottom basin on a hot cycle. That flush clears the spray arm orifices, the internal filter housing, and the drain pump. The exact failure points limescale accumulation targets. Appliance technicians identify this as the most common cause of non-mechanical dishwasher failure. The repair bill runs between $120 and $300. Prevention is citric acid in 15 minutes. Here's the number that matters. 5 cycles a week, this formula costs $10 a year. Cascade pods on the same schedule cost between $140 and $150. The full supply run, citric acid, washing soda, baking soda, salt, is about $12 at any grocery store and covers 6 months. 6 months of pods runs $75. Over 10 years, the gap is over $1,000 before repair calls, before replacement glasses, before an accelerated pump-out schedule on your septic. Same clean dishes, no glass destruction, no chemical residue drying on anything your family eats from, a machine descaling itself every cycle, and chemistry that does not slowly consume an appliance you paid good money for. If you know someone still buying the orange box, send this their way, and I will see you in the next one.